band throws shapes against the back wall. Long and crooked, every movement turned into a slow dance of distorted limbs and bending instruments. Light from the bar slides across bottles like liquid glass, then spills into the room in thin, failing streams that dissolve before they reach your table. You sit half, turn away from the rest, body angled as though you are already halfway out the door, yet your eyes stay rooted to the stage, or maybe to the space just in front of it, where sound thickens. My voice steps down a narrow staircase of notes, careful on the way, heels clicking softly against glass, slick silence. The guitar, hollow-bodied and world-weary, whispers chords, a taste of rust and honey, each one hanging around long enough to be missed when it finally lets go. Your features appear and disappear as people move between us, their silhouettes briefly stitching your outline into something stranger, more tempting. You toy with the stem of your glass, spinning reflections of amber and brass across the table as though conducting some private orchestra only you can hear. The rhythm loosens, hips of the song swaying just out of time, inviting anyone brave enough to leave their chair. You stay seated, but your breathing changes, aligning itself with the brush snare, with the soft slap of palm against bass string. Lyrics fold around the idea of almost touch, of stories rehearsed but never performed, and the room grows quieter, leaning in on its elbows when the solo fades and the melody returns. You finally look up fully, and for one elongated heartbeat, the wall behind you disappears, leaving only our shared dangerous attention playing in the thin air between. The door closes with a soft, exhausted sigh, and the outside world shrinks to a blur of distant headlights smeared across frosted glass. Inside, the lamps hang low and patient, casting circles of amber that never quite touch, leaving pockets of secrecy between tables. You choose one of those pockets, sliding into the booth like a carefully placed comma, pausing the sentence of your night. My voice rises from the small stage, not demanding attention, but assuming it will arrive eventually, the way smoke assumes lungs. The piano sketches the outline of a city that exists only after midnight, all dead ends and cul-de-sacs of maybe. The bass draws long lines phrases, the lyrics are too polite to say outright. You listen with your whole posture, shoulders curved around the quiet, fingers interlace on the table as though cradling something fragile and unseen. Conversations around you flatten into a gentle hum, white noise against which every slight movement you make rings like a bell. The song circles around what is not being spoken, touching the edges, retreating, then returning again with a braver harmony. Your gaze wanders to the empty seat across from you, then back to the stage, choosing the lesser danger. The drummer lets the brushes barely kiss the snare, a suggestion of heartbeat, more felt than heard. When the bridge comes unexpectedly luminous, you straighten, caught off guard by the sudden possibility hidden in a single altered chord. For a moment the room seems to tilt, all the unsaid things sliding toward the surface. Then the final note decays into the rafters, and the silence that follows feels like a held breath. The night itself is reluctant to release. The air has grown thick enough to drink, a slow cocktail of tobacco, citrus peel, and something floral that trails behind you every time you shift in your seat. The clock above the bar has forgotten its purpose, hands circling lazily as though time were just another patron, lingering after last call. My song slips into the room like a practiced stranger, familiar enough not to alarm, new enough to earn a second glance. You rest your cheek against your knuckles, watching through half-lowered lashes, as if full attention might make the moment too sharp to handle. The bass walks with soft-soled shoes, each note leaving barely a footprint, while the piano lays out a path of dim lanterns in minor keys. Your perfume finds a stage before your gaze does, a faint promise of closeness carried on an indifferent draft. Lyrics speak of corridors and closed doors, of choosing to knock with fingertips instead of fists. And a smile threatens to betray your composure. The drummer draws circles in the air with his brushes, murmuring rhythm into the edges of the silence, careful not to wake the more cautious parts of the room. Glass meets wood with a dull, satisfied thud as you set your drink down. Decision deferred but not dismissed. My voice dips even lower, brushing against the floorboards, lift and gust from old confessions that once sounded just as dangerous for a heartbeat. Everything narrows to the faint trace of your scent, crossing the footlights, wrapping itself around the microphone. Stand like a ribbon, claimed by accident. By the final refrain, the world outside might as well be another century, and all that remains is the quiet echo of your presence lingering where my next breath will have to pass. The night has settled into its final posture, slouched and heavy, like a coat abandoned on the back of a chair long after its owner forgot the intention to leave. The lamps wear their dimness like tired crowns, casting small, uncertain halos that fail to reach the corners where most of the important things are happening. You occupy one of those corners, a quiet gravity, while pulling my attention away from the safe center of the stage. My voice curls low around the microphone, choosing intimacy over volume. Each phrase a fingertip sliding along the rim of what we are not yet admitting. The piano drops dark coins of sound into the silence, each note sinking slowly, leaving ripples that nudge your expression from guarded to something looser. The bass hums beneath it all, a slow ember of resonance glowing under the floor, promising a burn if stepped on barefoot. You cradle your drink like a secret, palms warmed by the glass, and every time you lift it, the liquid trembles, betraying the steady stillness of your shoulders. The audience becomes a soft blur of profiles and smoke, no longer a crowd, just a curtain behind which this quiet conspiracy can unfold. As the melody twists into its minor turn, your gaze finally catches mine, and there is a moment where the song stops belonging to the room and starts belonging only to that thin line between us. The drummer breathes through the brushes, barely touching the skin, as if afraid to wake the reasonable parts of our minds. When the last chord hangs unresolved and humming, the silence that follows feels like the brightest thing in the room. An ember suspended between inhale and exhale, waiting for someone to lean in and claim the warmth. The ceiling is a restless sea of smoke, waves folding over each other in slow motion, carrying the faint glow of tired conversations toward the exit sign. You sit near the edge of the bar's dim horizon, where the light runs out of courage and turns back, leaving your features to the mercy of imagination. My song begins as a thin thread, slipping through the clatter of ice, and the soft scrape of chairs then thickens as it finds you're listening. The horn player leans into a midnight phrase, notes bending like bodies caught in a decision they will regret beautifully. Your hand lifts a cigarette to your lips, ember flaring just enough to sketch the brief geometry of your face, a private constellation that disappears as quickly as it arrives. Drifts into the tray like quiet snow, covering the evidence of everything you burned to make tonight bearable. The bass holds a long, patient line, a low horizon that refuses to break, while the drums whisper in dry brush strokes, cautious not to disturb what is almost happening. You exhale toward the stage, a delicate offering of borrowed light and borrowed courage, and the smoke reaches me before your gaze does. Every lyric lands somewhere between question and invitation, careful not to tip either way, careful and yet hopelessly uneven. The room Perfume's chatter dims to a gentle rustle, a backdrop of anonymity that makes our strange familiarity feel even sharper. When the bridge climbs unexpected and blue, your shoulders relax, surrendering to the gravity of the moment. By the time the last note fades into the rafters, the horizon between us has shifted, and the distance now feels less like emptiness and more like a path waiting quietly to be crossed.
The first chord lands like a soft bruise, purple and slow, spreading warmth through the dim room, as if the lights had exhaled. You sit where the shadows are thickest, letting them lick at your shoulders, blur the lines of your jacket, polish your posture into something almost ceremonial. My voice steps carefully onto the narrow path between desire and discretion, low and unhurried, tasting every vow before letting it go. Glass clinks murmur at the bar, tiny bells announcing another round of courage poured over ice, another postponement of decisions best made in daylight. Your eyes catch the dull glow from a distant lamp, and for a moment they flare like embers coaxed back to life with a single breath. The bass walks in lazy circles, never in a hurry to arrive anywhere, while the drummers brush a sketch soft weather over the snare, a storm heard through several walls. You lean forward into the half-light, elbows on the table, and the faint silver at your wrist glints each time your pulse disagrees with the tempo. Every lyric unfolds like a confession disguised as a toast, raising what we dare not name to our lips without spilling a drop. The room around us fades into a blur of backs and murmurs, as though the night has chosen to frame only this narrow corridor between your gaze and mine. The piano lays down dark velvet steps, inviting slow, dangerous movement. And in some other version of this evening we stand and follow them. Instead we remain seated, perfectly still, letting the music do the touching, letting the dimness draw your outline thicker, deeper, until it feels less like an absence of light and more like the most honest form of presence.
like a small captured sunset, trapped in chipped crystal in the light that escapes it. Climbs your wrist in slow surrender, turning your skin the color of late regret. The room is a tired throat of smoke and murmurs. Every table its own little planet of half-truths and delayed goodbyes. My song crawls along the ceiling, low and unassuming, looking for a place to settle where nobody will notice it has your name hidden inside. Every second verse you tilt your head toward the stage just enough to pretend indifferent. Yet your eyes refuse to behave, dragging back to me like there is a secret stitched between each note. The bass drums like a warning beneath the floorboards, a patient animal pacing in circles, while the drums brush the edges of the silence, but never quite dare to break it. Your fingers toy with the straw in your glass, stirring shadows into the amber, as if you could dissolve the evening before it learns to become memory. Somewhere behind you, ice cracks in someone else's drink, a small clean sound like a decision finally made. The piano leans into dark chords, spilling slow molasses tones that cling to the air, heavy and languid, persuasive in the soft blur of the bar mirror. Your reflection leans closer than your body allows, closing a distance we still pretend is necessary. By the time the bridge arrives, my voice has dropped into a confessional hush, brushing against your defenses, daring them to fall asleep on duty. Your lips part on a breath you do not take, and for one suspended measure, all of this feels like standing on the edge of something warm and dangerous, waiting for gravity. Remember us. The night presses in like heavy velvet, and the thin fabric between us and the city breathes with every draft, a trembling curtain that catches the faint outline of your restlessness. Streetlights smear their tired gold across the window, drawing fragile borders around your wandering hands, around the glass, sweating slowly between your fingers. The band in the corner plays as if from underwater, trumpet muffled bass, heartbeat steady and resigned. While my voice drifts along the surface like a slow confession that hopes not to be heard, you lean back into the shadow, letting it climb your collarbone, your jaw, until your features blur, leaving only the suggestion of a smile that may or may not be for me. The smoke moves in lazy spirals, wrapping the lamp in a ghostly halo, twisting through the distance between our chairs, carrying on sentences across the room. Your shoes tap the rhythm you refuse to dance, a quiet syncopation that betrays the simmer beneath your silence. The piano lingers on dissonant intervals, notes rubbing against each other like bare shoulders in a crowded room, uncomfortable, irresistible. Outside, tires hiss on wet asphalt, but in here, time has the thickness of honey, sliding slowly, sticking to every glance, every almost touch. You trace a shape on the table with one fingertip, something looping in secret, and even from here it feels like an invitation written in a language only the dark understands. When the song folds into its final minor chord, the room exhales as one tired lung, yet you stay very still, watching the curtain breathe, and in that held breath between endings and beginnings, the air around us tastes of risk, of warmth, of something softly dangerous waiting just beyond deliberate reach. The room hums in slow circles, a dim aquarium of tired souls, floating in bourbon light, and your presence stains the air like ink blooming through water, spreading quietly until everything tastes of you. The band bends time in half, stretching each bar until it trembles, the bass walking alone down some forgotten alley, while the piano spills blue glass across the floor. You sit just beyond the reach of the candle, where your expression is guessed more than seen, and still the curve of your neck reads louder than any shouted confession. My voice sinks into the smoke, a low confession disguised as melody, wrapping itself around your wrist, your pulse, the place where your heartbeat stumbles every time the chords change. Laughter from the bar arrives muffled and far away, as if happening in some other city, to some other version of us who never learned the art of sloping. a small eclipse of reason that rearranges every rule I wrote to survive evenings like this. The drummer brushes the snare like a secret barely kept, cymbals exhaling in soft metallic sighs that fall gently over your shoulders. We are both pretending not to notice the magnetic field tighten between our chairs, the way your shadow leans first, daring your body to follow. Every note becomes a question you refuse to answer, and every pause between phrases is an invitation. I am too careful to accept, too reckless to ignore. When the last chord hangs in the hush, you finally look up and the world narrows to that dark, unreadable spark that tells me the story has already begun, writing itself across our skin. Your outline leans against the dusky wall, breathing in rhythm with a trembling neon, and every quiet exhale tastes like smoke between our hands, like a question we are afraid to answer aloud tonight. Glasses ring softly when they touch, small bells summoning ghosts of promises that never learn to fade. Hovering above the table, drifting through the dim air like incense, your gaze moves slow, tracing lazy constellations across my face, mapping the shadows under my eyes, the hollow of my throat, the curve where certainty dissolves into wanting. The piano lingers on a blue minor chord, holding it just too long, as though time itself is reluctant to return to its usual speed. And even the drummer seems to tiptoe around our silence. Your fingers draw circles on the damp rim of your drink, each orbit tighter, deeper, as though you could spiral down into the black center and pull me with you. Outside, the city glows in washed out amber, rain turning every streetlight into a blurred halo. But here the world is contracted to the narrow distance distance between your mouth and mine. Words feel danger as sharp as broken crystal. So we trade in small gestures instead. A tilted head, a pulse quickening beneath skin. An almost accidental brush of knees beneath the table. When the saxophone sighs low and smoky, it sounds like something inside us finally unclenching. Like permission given without a single syllable spoken. And in that fragile, flickering moment, we agree to let our boundaries slip. To let darkness fill in the spaces where daylight once insisted on answers, while the night keeps our secret, patient and indifferent, just beyond the glass.